Our next guest is a US Air Force veteran, a psychologist, and she's now running a running congressional candidate in the state of Oregon. Welcome to Outsiders, Dr. Angela Plowhead. How are you, Angela?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Great to see you. Now, you've responded. We had on our network here, we had Piers Morgan interviewing Donald Trump, and he made some strong comments, Donald Trump, that is, about a big issue here in Australia in this election, Angela, which is the whole issue to do with transgenderism. We have a candidate, Catherine Deves, arguing to keep women's sport safe for women. Give us your thoughts on this, Angela.
I think she's exactly right. We have fought so long and for so hard to get women's rights where they are now. And we're putting ourselves backwards decades by allowing biological men to operate in women's sports. It takes away opportunity for women when it comes to education, as far as getting into college and getting scholarships for college. And then when you take it to its logical conclusion, that means that there are fewer women working in professional jobs where they have the opportunity to make good salaries. So it only makes logical common sense that we're not going to have biological men operating in women's sports.
Well, tell us about some of the advantages a male body would have in women's sport. Even if, say, their testosterone level has been decreased to be within acceptable levels, are there things that they can't reverse, like lung capacity or bone density? Explain that to us.
Well, you're going to have all kinds of advantages physiologically. You're going to have advantages when it comes to size. So if the transition didn't start happening prior to puberty, which for most people it hasn't. So that means they're going to be larger, they're going to be taller, they're going to still be stronger. And even when you do reduce the amount of testosterone, you still have extremely higher amounts of testosterone than you do in a natural woman.
James?
Angela, tell us about your congressional race here in Oregon. Oregon is known to us in Australia as a very woke state, a very far-left state. We know that Joe Biden has been doubling down, tripling down on the trans identity activist agenda. How is your campaign being received in the 6th district? Tell us about your district and amidst what people are expecting to be a big Republican wave come November when the midterms happen.
Yeah, so absolutely. There is, I believe, going to be a large red wave. And so why I think that is that even when we look at the part of our electorate here that is, it makes up a third, actually, of our people that are registered to vote. And those are the unaffiliated voters, which means that they are not affiliated with either the Democratic or the Republican Party. So if they make up an entire third, then that's a large population for us to tap into. When we've done research into where they fall politically, they are extremely conservative. So about 70 to 80% of them have very conservative values when it comes to family, when it comes to education, when it comes to safety. So all those things that right now are extremely important to the American people and to people around the world, I think. And so we have going to be a very close race, but I think it's one that we can absolutely win. My district is almost 50-50. It leans a little bit bluer when you look at the number of Democrats versus Republicans registered, but that doesn't take into account all those unaffiliated voters. So I think we absolutely have a chance to take it. I've been well received in both the Republican circles as well as in the more neutral circles. And so I think they're just fed up, just like they are in Australia. They're fed up here with people not taking into consideration safety, not taking into consideration people's preferences for what they want to have happen as far as freedoms. And they're tired of, the things that happened during the lockdowns and really ready to get back to life, but back to life where our kids are going to be educated appropriately. Our education system here in Oregon is one of the worst in the nation. And, we have 50% of our third graders that can't read.
Wow.
And 40 to 50% of our graduating seniors that have to take remedial courses when they go to college just to be able to take 100 level college courses.
That's what happens when you let the woke into the education system. Now, Angela, we saw under Trump a shift in Hispanic voters and other minority groups who, for the first time, started supporting Republicans in greater numbers than they had previously. Do you see that trend continuing in the midterms? And also looking ahead to 2024, do you think Donald Trump is going to run again, or is Ron DeSantis now the front runner as far as the Republicans are concerned?
So I'll take your first question with the people of color. So I'm actually biracial. And so I think it's been wonderful to see people that would traditionally be considered Democrats just because of their demographics coming out openly talking about where they stand politically and saying, we've had enough of this. This has led us down the wrong road. And now we need to see a difference in our nation, and we need to actually make a change and not just vote how our family members did or how other people in our demographic did, but we need to be thinking for ourselves, and we need to be going down a path that's going to correct this ship that our nation has been on. And so, only about 33% of the people in our nation feel like our nation's heading in the right direction. So, I think there's a huge opportunity there, and people are coming on board. So we see, like you mentioned, much greater numbers of Hispanics and Black Americans saying, we're going to do something different, and we're going to vote Republican maybe for the first time in our lives. And I think it's been wonderful that we have people like, Candace Owens and Tim Scott that are there showing that, there are people that look like me, people that sound like me, and they are very conservative, and they're going to stand up for conservative values in our nation.
Dr. Angela Plowhead, great work, and we really look forward to hearing that you win. That's what we want to hear. And the fight you are fighting is being echoed here in our elections. You're right, Candace Owens is terrific. We've had her on the show. Thanks so much, Dr. Angela Plowhead, for coming on Outsiders today. Thanks so much.